Hi, this is Jim with Expansion Marketing, and many businesses out there utilize cold calling. Now, some people think cold calling, why would you use cold calling? The reality is, cold calling is a very inexpensive, cost efficient, and actually causative way to go out and get new business, especially if you don't already have a big following. I've cold called using my AI business, and people are like, well, why wouldn't you use AI tools to get a bunch of business? Because a lot of the AI tools get really expensive. And if you don't have tens of thousands of dollars to throw at a pre built system or hundreds of hours of time to build all that system and infrastructure from scratch, picking up the phone and making phone calls is a good way to get started. So, a lot of businesses out there still rely on cold calling. Why? Because you can actually control how much volume of outflow you're giving. You can't always control from an ad who's going to see the ad, who's going to click on it, and all that stuff. You can control, though, if you're going to make 100 calls every day, exactly how many people you're going to be able to reach, right? You'll know if I make 100 calls, I'm going to contact maybe 30 to 50 people and actually have conversations. People will get to know you. People, you can develop a pitch, or maybe you just can get their email address and send them information, and they'll be looking for it because they know what you do. Cold calling can be a very effective way of making sales. However, cold calling is extremely inefficient. Now, for those of you guys who are still working with cold calling or do have a few people that are manually dialing out, even if you have an auto dialer, I have an automation tool that's going to make your job a lot easier and a ton more efficient. In fact, if you're a business that does cold calling and relies on that for your business lead generation, and you have a lead list of at least 10,000 names, ideally 20 to 30,000 names, people that you could call for your business, then I have a program that can actually automate a lot of that process, and it will actually cost pennies on the dollar compared to how much you're paying a cold caller. And the best part is you can actually turn those cold callers into reps that are receiving inbound calls. And then those reps can spend their time actually talking to people. To give you an idea of the difference here between this automation system and regular manual cold calling, an average cold calling rep might make 200 calls a day if he's just really hammering the phones, or maybe it's between 100 and 200 calls a day. So the average rep might get to 500 leads in a week if he's just calling one lead one time per week. And if he's actually having conversations, which is what you want, he might get less than that. He may only get 50 to 100 in a day, right? So if you're paying a guy 10, 15 to 20 bucks an hour or even more, that gets really expensive. What if I told you that there's an automation tool that can send out 10,000 messages for only $400? Now that 10,000 messages over the course of that week would take that rep who's only making 500 to maybe 1,000 calls during that week. He can hit 10 times that much, and he's actually going to have 10 times more communications and more conversations with people. That's going to turn that inefficient cold calling rep into a powerhouse who's going to actually develop leads, get appointments scheduled, get business going for your company, and make you a lot more money. So if you're interested in how you can leverage this automation tool, which can take $400 and replace a $4,000 a month rep, let's say, then give me a call or let me know, because I have an entire course that shows you what this tool is and exactly how to use it so that you can start making a lot more money out of your cold calling efforts than spending money on reps that are not contacting enough people. Hope to talk to you soon.